Hey, didn't see you there, podcast listener. Welcome to Tutor I Hardly Know Her, the podcast that's about history, kinda.
Ish. Sorta.
I'm one of your hosts, Garrett.
I'm another host, Emily.
And I'm Jeffrey.
He's our host,
Hi,
too.
Jeff.
He's our editor and our producer.
And you know what? Just the handsomest guy around.
That's true. He looks like Nick Cage.
Look at that smile.
I'm essentially Dunice from SNL.
No, you're Chloe and you're third.
I'm
I don't get
I'm
this
third.
reference.
What,
I
Garrett?
don't get this reference at all. I don't watch SNL.
That's okay. I'll share it with you.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, how you guys
What's the
doing?
last SNL skit I saw?
I
I think it was one with Tiffany Haddish. She was playing a video game character. Boo Boo Jeffries. And her special move was just shouting, Beyonce, Beyonce, Rihanna, Rihanna.
That
Loved it.
sounds interesting. All right, you guys ready to
Yeah.
talk tutors?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, but before we talk tutors, I have something really cool to tell you. And really our listeners.
Oh.
Because this is the second time we've recorded, so you and Jeff already know.
This is all new to me.
No,
What?
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
I'm so surprised.
This is brand new information. Okay, so back in the fall, I was hanging out with my best friend Brittany, and she likes doing genealogy. So I was like, oh, let's dig into my family. So we found my dad's side, and that went back pretty far, and it was really cool. We found some cool relations, but my mom really wanted us to dig into her side, and I got stuck after a while. So for Mother's Day, I asked Brittany if she would help me dig farther into my mother's side and trace back the family tree from her parents. So long story short, I am related to, drumroll. Thank you.
I have no rhythm.
I am related to Henry VIII. He is my cousin. So we share a relation through John of Gaunt's son, John Beaufort. So we're all related to Edward III. So I'm basically royalty. So I really should be not Queen of England, but like whatever. And I know I've got all my older siblings ahead of me if I were in line for the throne, but we all know I'd be the better ruler of my 10 siblings. So just wanted to share that I am finally confirmed related to somebody awesome. Oh, and I'm related to Robert the Bruce, who was the first king of Scotland.
Oh.
Scotland, not Scotland. So,
Scotland was where we went on vacation last year. It was okay.
also, listener, sorry, I have a cold. It's not delightful. Anyway, that's my big news. But
That's awesome, though.
I was really excited about it, and it took me. So I found that out like 3 weeks before Mother's Day, and I had to keep it to myself for 3 weeks, and it was killing me. But my mom was super excited. She loved my gift to her, so I win. It's always a competition, guys.
It really is.
It is. So, are you ready to actually talk those crazy cousins of mine, the Tudors?
Yeah, let's talk Tudor.
Okay, so I actually picked out this episode topic a week and a half ago, and it came because I was on Twitter, and I saw an article that somebody had shared about Alison Weir's newest book. So she has a series that she's been doing about the 6 queens. I read the first one, or I listened to the first on audiobook, and it was fine. I read the second one, and I wasn't really a fan of it because that was the one where she gave Anne Boleyn a 6th finger. And then I just didn't.
Which we all know is true.
We all know is exceptionally true in that it's false. And then I just didn't want to read the next 2. I didn't care enough. But then I saw this article.
Do you want to read about Jane Seymour?
Yeah, right. Okay. When I was researching, so spoiler, we're talking about Anne of Cleves today. But when I was researching this, I found an article, and it kept talking about so it was talking about Anne of Cleves, and they'd be like, oh, this was Henry's first real political match. His other 2 marriages were for love. And I was like, wait. But they were like, it was his fourth wife. And I'm like, wait, it's his fourth wife, but who are you? Are you leaving out Anne Boleyn? Are you leaving out Jane Seymour? Because they mentioned Catherine of Aragon. So I'm like, who's not part of that? But it made me laugh. I'm going to assume it was Jane Seymour because she's boring. So.
And then there was Jane.
So the article that I was reading said that in Alison's book, she is asserting that Anne of Cleves had a child before she married Henry VIII. And the thing that bothered me about it is I don't care if you want to make that. It's fiction, right? It's historical fiction. So I don't care if she wanted to add that. But she was talking about it in a speech afterwards and almost trying to suggest that it was based in fact. So I wanted to delve into that. So that's what
Alison Weir was talking about that in a speech.
Yeah, afterwards.
Okay.
She was at a I don't know, a convention or something. And she brought up all this stuff about like why this could be true, and it kind of bothered me. So I thought, let's talk about it. So I wanted to get a little bit more into Anne of Cleves, and I got as much as I could without being an actual historian. But let's be honest, there's really not much known about Anne of Cleves. But I did find out some good stuff about her childhood and these fun rumors. So
some juicy goss.
So much goss that got people tossed in the tower.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Call Ryan Gosling.
Ha. All right, you ready?
Please do. I fucking love that guy.
Yes, I do happen to have his phone number on speed dial, and yet I've never mentioned it before.
Wow.
Wow. I know, I suck. So you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So Anne, oh, by the way, this is going to be a little bit repetitive since we'd already talked about Anne of Cleves before, but we haven't talked about her in a while. And
that was a million years ago. I
does.
feel like we need to do like a remaster of our like early episodes.
Yeah, I think so too. So let us know if you want to remaster. But this one is not really a remaster. It talks more about her childhood and the rumors that surrounded her.
Actually, that's a good idea. We should talk about that.
I wouldn't say
almost
no.
like redo those old episodes, but ask for ask our listeners for like any info and tidbits that they would like to share with us about these people.
Yes. Ooh, I like this.
Oh God, always thinking.
Oh, write that down so we don't forget it. All right. So Anna of Cleves was born in Dusseldorf. She was a Virgo. She liked long romantic walks on the beach.
I could have never worked out with us.
On that German beach.
Actually, don't know if that's true.
Just storming it all day.
She was born on September 22nd of 1515. So when she married Henry in 1540, she was only 25 years old. Actually, she was 24 years old. Half his age. There you go.
Hot.
Right. So she was the second child. She had an older sister named Sybil, and then a younger sister, Amelia, and a brother, William, or Wilhelm, because he's German. So I'm going to call all the sisters by their English version of their names, but I'm forever going to call him Wilhelm.
I am Wilhelm.
I feel like my raspy, dead coffee voice right now really lends a credence of...
He is a villain from Wolfenstein.
Wolfenstein.
Do you think you could get away with calling a child Wilhelm nowadays if you're American?
No.
The Will.
It's like, this is my boy Wilhelm.
Does he have a scream?
hey, Wilhelm, show the boys your scream. Dad, please. Dad, I hate doing this. Well, go on, do it, Willie.
To those who do not know what I'm talking about, watch like any movie and that scream you hear in everything.
That's like the earliest meme.
Yeah.
It is.
Like it was in the very first Star Wars. And it's from
Yeah.
like an old Western. I don't know. But either way.
Wilhelm.
So what is Wilhelm doing?
Wilhelm was the Duke. So her older sister, Sybil. I didn't write her sister's name down because I was like, it's Sybil. I remember that because of Downton Abbey, and then I keep forgetting it. Anyway, Sybil married a man who was known as the champion of the Reformation. Like people called him that. So, I feel like now everybody today needs to seek a partner who has some big badass name like Champion of the Reformation, but make sure it's like old school. Like, you're not going to have somebody nowadays called Champion of the Reformation. So
I
like
mean, you'll have like champions of like the WWF belt. Like that
they're
kind of counts, right?
basically the same thing. So yeah, either marry a Champion of the Reformation or a Champion of the belt. Right? There we go.
Absolutely.
That is a romance corner with Emily and Garrett.
Date you a champion. Girl, why are you settling for these guys? Get you a champion.
Get you a champ. So her entire family kind of believed in the Reformation, although her mother was a devout Catholic, but like they kind of tossed that in as an aside. They're like, her father believed in the Reformation, her brother believed in the Reformation, her sister married somebody who was the champion of the Reformation. Her mom was a Catholic, but she's a fucking woman, so she doesn't count, so whatever. So when Anne was 11, she was betrothed to Francis, the son of the Duke of Lorraine. He was only 10, and apparently it mattered more that he was young than that she was young, because they were like, they're too young to be betrothed. And so
Sorry, how old was she?
She was 11 and he was 10.
Real summer winter type thing.
So it didn't count, and that betrothal was canceled. Like,
I bet that's never going to happen again.
probably never again.
Nah.
I bet you it's never going to be important, never going to come up again. So Anne's father died, and her brother Wilhelm inherited, and he became the duke. He had like 3 dukedoms, so we call her Anne of Cleves, but the brother ended up being the Duke of Jülich, Cleves, and Berg. So he had a lot of power
Is that
there.
a law firm?
Yeah. No, apparently not. I mean, if it's a law firm, it's a failed law firm, because things came back to bite him in the ass later. But that law firm ended up having lots of power in that region. So that's why Cromwell, when Henry needed a new wife, was like, hey, there's this guy, you should go to him. So then
Ever
after
the matchmaker, Cromwell.
Matchmaker, matchmaker, make me a match. In 1537, after Jane Seymour died, Anne was suggested as a political bride, purely because her brother had so much power in that region, and they needed a political match after Henry went and fucked up all the Catholic shit in the kingdom. Now, this was immediately after Jane died, and he didn't marry her until 1540. So, what happened was that Mary of Hungary, I don't know how she ended up being involved in this, but she suggested that Anne was a good potential match for Henry. This was around the same time that Henry went to like Christine de Milan and was like, hey, we should get married. And she goes, if I had 2 heads, you could have one. So apparently everybody was just involved in Henry's wedding plans. So, Mary of Hungary suggested Anne as a match for Henry. And apparently the ambassador said that he hadn't heard of her beauty. So Henry was like, nah, we good. It's fine. I only want somebody renowned for their beauty. And I am in the
He will
prime.
settle for nothing less.
I am in the prime of my life.
Because anything Anne of Cleves can be great at is her looks.
Look, guys, she wasn't ugly.
So which side was her family was the horse?
I hate you.
Oh my god. Did you know that never mind.
Her brother was the Clydesdale.
I was gonna make a Sarah Jessica Parker joke, but just too overplayed.
No, she didn't look like a horse. So, you know what? We're gonna go to this. You went there. All right. The Flanders Mare comment.
So when she fell out of the ugly tree, how many branches on the way down?
The Flanders Mare comment was never actually reported by Henry VIII. It was reported way later. It never actually said it, never written down that Henry said it. Somebody like 2 centuries later was like, yeah, he totally called her a Flanders Mare. Second of all,
I love how pissed Emily is right now. I wish I could see your face. I wish.
I'll send you a picture. I'll send you a Snapchat. Hans Holbein was Henry's favorite artist. He sent Hans Holbein to Cleves to get portraits of both Anne and her sister Amelia. Then Henry was like, I want that one. He did not have Hans killed.
Or you
Give me one
ordered
of
it out of a
them.
catalog.
He did. I mean,
It's
he
like the
actually
Sears
asked.
catalog around Christmas when you're circling all the pictures of the things that you want.
He actually asked all the French princesses to come and parade before him. But anyway, back to Hans. Hans did the portraits, gave them to Henry, and if Henry really thought that Hans was being full of shit about what they actually looked like after the fact, he would have stopped using him at the bare minimum. Probably he would have had him killed if Hans was actually being like full of crap and making them look prettier than they were. But he did not. She was not ugly. She probably has the best portrait of any of his wives. So y'all can suck that bullshit.
I'll be the judge of that, Emily.
All right, fine. Go Google Anne of Cleves.
Anne of Cleves.
Anne of Cleves. Portrait. Hans.
Ah!
I hate you. She's
Okay,
not
so-
ugly.
Okay, no, okay. So one of them is
Garrett is
very
petrified.
One of them is very unflattering. It's the third one in Google Images.
All right, hold on.
It's the third one. She looks incredibly pale, a bit older. She's got some bags under the eyes.
Anne of Cleves. Is that all you Googled?
Yeah, Anne of Cleves.
I see the
But-
one you're talking about.
But the one that I believe you're talking about, I think this is the Holbein. She does look very pretty in this.
See? Like it's a straight on portrait.
It all
That
it,
was
it almost
that was
looks like
awesome.
like a picture almost that someone tried to pass off as a painting.
It does. It's a really
Like,
good one.
Like her face is a face that I feel like I could see in public today.
Like, here's the thing. If I went back in time
I
and
see a
tried
little
to
bit of Sophie
align the
Turner.
wives with their portraits, like if I only knew the portraits, which I only know the portraits, and I was like, okay, I think that's Anne, I think that's Catherine, it'd be really hard. Anne of Cleves, I feel like I'd get it down. Like, I feel I'd be like, yeah, that's Anne of Cleves right there. She's pretty, guys. You
Okay, I'm
motherfuckers.
gonna sell this once for all. I'm looking at all the portraits of the wives. Da-da-da-da-da.
Rank those wives.
Ooh, that'd be a fun game.
Hot or not? Okay, so I'm looking at this. These probably aren't the best, but I'd say Anne of Cleves has maybe the best looking one.
Right?
I mean, these are all in slightly different styles.
See, that's
but
what I'm trying to figure out, like where the joke originally came from of that she was ugly.
It was because Henry kept saying that he thought she was ugly, but he never called her a Flanders mare.
It's one of those like.
And actually,
old-timey
we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk
meant
about
just
the
like one of
Uggo
those-
comment.
those
Okay.
old timey sitcoms where like the husband's just constantly harangued by his wife. He's like, the old ball and chain, just constantly talking shit about his
He's
wife.
the, oh my God, I almost said he's the Ted Bundy, which actually fairly accurate. He is a little bit serial killery. He's the Al Bundy of the Tudors.
Al and Peg love each other though.
They did.
They did. They got their freak on. They did. They
All
were
right.
freaky.
Back to, so let's circle back to the topic directly at hand. We will get to the rumors about her being ugly. So Anne's education growing up, it was good enough. She knew German. She could sew, which was pretty much all they needed to do. She learned English pretty quickly after moving
Can
to
you bear
England.
children and can you sew?
Yeah. Apparently she grew up in the town from Footloose because she wasn't allowed to sing, dance, or enjoy music at all whatsoever.
Yeah, her dad was John Lithgow.
Yes. So here is the claim. According to Alison Weir, all right, let's start with the facts first. Henry did not want to marry Anne of Cleves. The
feel like-
day of the wedding, he told Thomas Cromwell that if it wasn't for doing it for his kingdom, there's nothing on earth that could make him want to marry her. The day after their wedding, when he was supposed to have consummated it, he said, I liked her not well enough before, and now I like her not at all. And said that she had slack breasts and a floppy belly, and she was obviously no maid, so she wasn't a virgin, right? So those are the facts. The claim is that Henry VIII would have known what a woman who'd recently had a baby or who'd ever had a baby looked like physically because, you know, between all of his wives and all of his mistresses, he would have seen enough of what pregnancy does to a woman's body. So it's not so like clearly he was telling the truth when he came out of that room and was like, nah, she's totally had a baby before, because Henry VIII knew that. Now,
And that would have been a big problem if she had had a baby.
oh my God, yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. We'll come back around to that, but
He wouldn't have been a good stepdad.
no, I don't think so.
It's like, well, it's not mine, but I'll raise him as my own.
Call me dad, son.
Can I call you Hank? Sure.
So the thing that bothers me is that Allison claims that things like stretch marks, quote unquote, argue against an innocent explanation, meaning she had a baby. So the innocent explanation would have been she lost weight. That happens. But the things like she like
Her
apparently
body's summer ready.
Well, here's what bothers me.
She was a fat kid.
I've had stretch marks forever. Like I've had stretch marks for at least the last 6 years. In that time, I've had a baby last year. That's where the stretch, like, you can have stretch marks without just pregnancy. So I'm really annoyed with Allison Weir for like throwing women's bodies under the buses and being like, this is the only acceptable term in which you can have a stretch mark. So that bothered me a lot. But anyway, the secret baby thing. So she thinks that Henry VIII would never have suggested that she wasn't a maid unless it was true. But he wouldn't have actually revealed a scandal like the fact that she had a baby, because he still needed the political alliance with Cleves, with Wilhelm. So either one of two scenarios were suggested. Either that Anne was seduced by a cousin, which she was raped. Like, that's what they're suggesting, but they fucking won't say it. Either Anne was raped back in the courts and she got pregnant, or she fell in love and had an affair with somebody, right? So those are the two circumstances. Now, one article that I was reading about this on, so I don't know if this came from Allison Weir or if it came from somebody expanding upon that, but they said that it's very possible that Anne would have had a love affair because her grandfather was known as the baby maker. He had 63 illegitimate children.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, I'd call him the baby maker too.
That's probably what he also called himself, the holy fuck.
So anyway,
It's like how we're all somehow in the way related to Genghis Khan.
We're all related to Cleve's grandfather.
all related to the baby maker.
I want to see what that guy looks like.
He was probably, if he was ugly, then he was hung like the Cleve's horse. Don't.
Oh my
He
god,
looks
that's
like
where they got
Jerry.
it. He got the horse's dick and she got the horse's face.
Oh god. And we killed Emily.
Dead.
Woo! This
All right, so-
podcast is not for kids.
So that's the baby rumor, and it really bothers me because I feel like there is really no support, and I don't care if you want to do your historical fiction and claim that she had a kid. Like, that adds to the fun of a story, but
If that's what she believes, I'm sorry. Go on.
no, I was just gonna say it bothers me that she's like trying to present it as fact and back it up with supposition and guessing on what Henry meant, not anything really based in fact.
Yeah.
So, and that's a problem that a lot of historical authors have been doing lately, and it's really irritating.
So did she bring up like where the kid went?
No, she was just like, she probably had a kid. That's it. And I didn't read the book, but I'm like, should I read the book? But it's not a biography.
Possible like miscarriage.
That's
Maybe.
possible.
Like she went for a little bit longer term and then lost the baby at some point.
That's possible.
Or the child died after childbirth and they just kind of swept it under the rug.
That's
not the child.
This isn't other Boleyn girl.
That was good.
Oh.
Oh boy. So that's that. I think Alison Weir actually wrote a biography on Anne of Cleves.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't think she did. I'm gonna have to try and find a biography on Anne of Cleves because I want to learn more about her. But I'm sorry, this one just seems so far fetched and not based in anything. So I'm gonna call bullshit on this, and I'm gonna skip that book as well.
Myth busted.
But there are a couple other things that happen. Some drama with our
Drama.
lovely Anne of Cleves. So in this, oh, another reason in the 1600s, a biographer of Henry had some documents that are no longer around that claimed,
Conveniently.
right, that claimed that there was quote unquote secret causes why the king dropped Anne. I'm like, he's a fucking sociopath, guys. Like, what else do you need? But anyway, then after Henry and Anne were divorced, so he was like, all right, thanks for making this easy. You can call me your brother. I'll call you my sister. Here's a nice house that you can rent from me. I'll give you tons and tons and tons of money. In the divorce, it was also said that, man, where did this note go? I know I wrote it down. In the divorce, Anne agreed to stay in England until Henry VIII died, unless she had a child. So apparently that's another reason she would have had a child, because after Henry died, she did stay in England. Like, maybe she just didn't want to go back to her craptastic town based in Footloose where she can't listen to music.
Who wants to go back to Germany?
Right? So, anyway, after the divorce, after the great settlement of 1540, there were rumors that Anne was enjoying the single life and hooking up with dudes. And nobody wanted to marry her because they're like, well, you're Henry VIII's cast-offs, but I'll bang ya. And then the big...
Would you really want to take the one woman that was turned down by Henry VIII?
Right. Plus, I wouldn't want to get enmeshed in the Henry VIII drama. Like, it's just too much. So then there were also rumors that Anne of Cleves had a child by Henry VIII after they divorced. And it was around the time things with Catherine Howard were going all topsy-turvy. What with her banging the guy in the bathroom.
So Henry called her back for a booty call?
That's the rumor. So here's...
I imagine some guy is carrying a note to Anne. She's just like, reading a book or something, hanging out, cooking or whatever, and then she gets a note and it says, "You up?"
It's a pigeon shows up to her house. Fuck.
What are you doing?
No. So, okay. So apparently what happened was Anne of Cleves got sick, and because to this fucking day, if a woman gets sick, the first thing everybody asks is, "Are you pregnant?" So she got sick, and everyone's like, "She's pregnant." So
Where'd they go?
she's pregnant. So there were rumors going around that she was pregnant with Henry's child. I don't know how Henry came into the equation, but I think what happened was, so Anne got sick and she was in bed being sick, not with morning sickness. And the woman who usually took care of her, like, helped her wash and took care of her when she's sick, she was in bed having a baby. So that woman's name was Dorothy. So two other women were taking care of her, and the news came to them that Henry was divorcing Catherine Howard, and one of the women, I think her name was Janet, she was like, oh, he's doing it so he could, God has willed this to happen so that Henry can marry Anne of Cleves again. Anne was like, shut the fuck up. I don't want to go back to that crazy.
X-nay.
But then, so that somehow was overheard, and it got back to Henry, and those two women were taken away to be questioned. So Anne was upset, and her friend who had the baby was like, I'll make you feel better. Hold my baby in a bed where you are sick.
Here, hold this.
Where there were rumors that you just had a baby.
And then the paparazzi came in and got a snapshot.
Somebody, like the 1540s paparazzi came in.
Sketch artist.
Yeah, got a picture, and then the rumors started flying that Anne had had a baby. That mixed with the Janet saying that Henry wanted her back was enough to
This is
get
like the
this
biggest
rumor
tabloid cover I've ever
going.
heard.
It is so ridiculous.
Henry leaves Catherine Howard for this woman.
But I've actually heard
There's
like
the
there were
cover of the
actually rumors
newspaper.
going around at that time. Like
Henry
these are
kicked
real
out of
rumors.
his castle because he's making late night
It shows
pigeon
him in a
calls to his
carriage, like with
ex-wife.
his hand. He's got his hand over his eyes, trying to like cover up the photograph, and then you see like Anne of Cleves in the background.
He has
like,
a baseball
covering her head
hat,
with
sunglasses, and a hoodie over, and he's trying to like
Exactly.
walk through the
Yup.
streets.
Yep, and he's just going.
somebody make us a tabloid cover for all this scandalous shit, please.
Well, these were actual rumors that were going around, but and then one piece I was reading, it was kind of poorly written, but it was talking about how it was talking about how oh god. Now I'm trying to remember. I'm brain dead. Either way, it said that Henry heard a rumor that Anne was pregnant with his child, and then when it was confirmed that she wasn't, he was relieved. And so that suggests, like, why would he be relieved unless he slept with her? And it's
Because he
just,
didn't want to have to marry her again.
oh fuck, no, not again.
Because she was an uggo.
Jerry.
Poor uggo.
So I like to imagine like Henry divorces Anne, is like, oh man, she looked like a horse, and then he tries to get back with her later, and she's like, now about all that horse shit you were saying.
Well, the thing, like, think about it. Would you want to have been married to Henry if you escaped the first time and then saw him behead the woman he left you for?
You know what? She likes to live dangerously.
And can you imagine being like divorced and then you're seeing his next wife after you being beheaded? You're like, oh, thank God.
Right. I escaped.
No shit.
Yeah. So like that. I don't know. Anne is an interesting person because I've heard mixed things on here. Either she was smart and escaped Henry's marriage rules because she was like, yeah, I'll divorce you. I'm smart enough. Or she was just like dumb and like, I'll do whatever you tell me to do.
So let's say that first painting, it was the accurate one. Like she's like, oh, I'm gonna marry the king. Then she finally marries the king. She's like, oh my God, this guy's crazy. So that's when she started intentionally making herself look ugly.
Oh.
Like she started makeup, like not doing makeup at all. She's just like got bags under her eyes. Like she's like enhancing all the. That's where the ugliness came from. She is pretty. She was just like, I gotta get out of this
I gotta
somehow.
dump
Stop
him.
bathing.
He's like,
Smells like death.
they did say she smelled. Henry
Everyone
said she had.
smells.
Henry
I bet
said
Harry
she
doesn't
had.
smell much better himself.
He literally has a leg leaking pus that smelled all the time. I just, for somebody who was like a 1, he really expected all the 10s to fall in love with him.
He was not.
'Cause I'm
Henry
rich.
was not a 1. Henry was not a 1. Even in his later years, Henry was not a 1.
All right.
I don't think he was a 1.
All right. Henry in his prime, I'd probably say was closer to an 8.
Yeah.
And then in the fat years,
The dad bod is all the
physically,
rage nowadays.
that was not a dad. That was a dad bod
All
in that
Henry
he
needed
ate
to do
all
was
the
grow his
dads of the
hair out,
court.
get a man bun, and then just let the dad bod cultivate, and he would have been the hottest motherfucker in England.
Henry VIII with a man bun. He did not have a dad bod. He looked like he ate all of the dad bods.
He is like what Thor became in Endgame.
No, he still had some sexiness left to him. Henry, guys, do you not realize how fat Henry VIII was?
No.
Also, I found a
How
book.
fat was he?
I'm not kidding, guys. I was at the store yesterday and I found a book called How Fat Was Henry VIII? All right, let's.
And you bought it immediately,
It's
correct?
just
I
one-
had
it's
it
just
in my
one
hands.
page, and it's like, all right, take this book. Now multiply this book by this many.
This is just a book of jokes. Henry VIII was so fat. How fat was he?
How fat did Henry VIII get? I mean, guys, have you seen his pictures? Henry's earlier set of armor indicated a weight of about 180 to 200 pounds, mostly with muscle. His very last set of armor was 300 to 320 pounds. He's not a skinny guy.
All right.
It's
Let's
not
stop
even-
fat shaming Henry VIII.
He's an asshole. I'll fat shame him because he was a dick.
Okay.
If you're an asshole, I can fat shame you. That's the truth. But that covers our Anne of Cleves tabloid fodder.
I liked it.
I'm glad you did. I just saw that article and I was like, all right, I need to rage. And I have a platform for raging.
Yay!
Thanks,
Um,
podcasting.
Woo! So that's the episode, boys
That was
and
it.
girls.
That was it?
That was it.
That was it.
That was it.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Emily.
You're welcome very much, Garrett.
Mm-hmm.
And she lived happily ever after in the stables.
Job's fired. We're looking
As
for
your
a new
husband?
podcast. No, I'll keep him as my husband, but he now has to sit and not be in the podcast.
I just
And then-
sit and stare,
Yeah.
heavily breathe in the background.
That's what I'm doing right now. I'm like so over this cold and it's only been 24 hours. Anything we should tell our listeners, guys?
I don't have anything. I don't think anything's really changed too much. Sorry we missed an episode last week.
Yeah, my fault. I was
Though
traveling.
I really did laugh a lot at your AMA.
Oh, Garrett, that was amazing.
What? Oh, the AMA.
That
Yeah.
was hilarious.
That was fun. Thanks for everyone who was asking questions. I had a good time with that. We should do
Let's-
another one, but with all three of us.
Let's do
Well-
a highlights.
We should do it and like give a heads up to people like set a date and time. Like, hey, this date, this time, be prepared to be online and ask us questions because we'll
Yep.
be live.
Well, I did that some other time that we ran out of we didn't have an episode, so I was like, "Hey, ask me anything," and there weren't like that many, but a lot of people ask questions. I like that a lot. So
No, I love it.
we'll try to be engaging even if we don't have anything to put up. Which, again, we're trying desperately not to go a week without an episode now that we're kind of talking about and thinking about doing the Patreon because we want to make sure that you guys are. If you're contributing, we want to make sure that you're not feeling like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to make sure.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, you know what I
I
mean.
know what you mean.
But and just it just sucks to not have an episode.
Yeah, it does. We love doing the show, guys. I was traveling and I'm hitting a slump. So, not with the podcast, but
No.
with work, which takes up a lot of my time. I think there's a
here's
country that's
here's a-
going to 4-day work week. So how do we move to that country?
Yes, please. Let's go to one of those countries that actually give people vacation days and maternity and paternity leave
Yes,
and
please.
living wages.
Yes, please. All right, welcome to the Political Podcast hosted by Emily, Jeff, and Garrett, where we just bitch about how we've been fucked over by our shitty government.
Yeah, man, fight the system.
I'm not kidding. I was so mad about maternity leave earlier this week or last week or whatever. I'm like, if every woman who this mattered to just stopped working, the country would shut the fuck down for a day.
Just going to Alyssa Milano's sex strike.
No, I like sex.
Exactly. That was.
I
that was
really
such
hope
a
my
stupid
family's not
thing.
listening. Really hope my
I
family's
think your
not
parents
listening.
know that you like sex because A, you're still married, and B, you have a child.
I mean, yes, but that's not something we talk about in my family.
I mean, what do they think you did? You sure as hell
Lay
didn't
back and
turkey
think of
baster it.
England.
I mean, she just showed up on our front door when a stork flew off.
Hello, mother, father, and you're like, oh, didn't expect this.
She's-
That's a
she's
pleasant
British.
surprise.
Honey, our baby's here.
She-
Looks like your boss.
um,
Okay, guys,
one
find us
question I did-
on Twitter.
one thing I couldn't answer for you guys: have you guys ever been to England?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
We want to.
I've never technically been out of the country. Like, I've never had a passport
Neither
before in my
Same.
life.
I.
Let's get them together, guys.
Okay, if enough people ask for it, we'll go across the pond and we'll do a live show
If you pay
at
us.
the O2.
Hey, Britain, you want to fund us to go visit your country?
Let the Queen know that we're doing this. She might really enjoy the show.
She's just sitting there laughing in the throne room at us.
These Yanks are hilarious.
You don't know. I feel like it'd actually be the Duke who would get a kick out of our episode.
What does the Duke sound
Like,
like?
I think he'd be the one who.
It's like a weird British Goofy. A horse.
The name is a pun.
The name is a pun.
Oh shit.
All right, I'm Delirious.
Hi,
Find us on
Delirious.
Twitter.
I'm Dad.
No, you're not.
damn
Find
it.
us on Twitter at Tutor Know Her. On Facebook at Tutor I Hardly Know Her. We have a Gmail account set up now. It's tutorknowher@gmail.com. You can send us whatever the fuck you want. I don't really care, as long as it's not naked people.
No. Send me the naked people.
It's just all pictures of guys like Henry VIII.
Just
in
no
the
Anne of
later
Cleves,
years.
please.
Shut up. Shut up, guys. All right, goodbye.
Actually,
Divorce
Mr.
beheaded
Hands.
died. Divorce beheaded survived. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.